Once upon a time, in a small and cozy town, there lived a 7-year-old boy named Dylan. With his bright brown eyes and tousled brown hair, Dylan was always full of energy, especially when it came to animals. Whether it was a chirping bird, a playful dog, or a purring cat, Dylan had a special bond with every creature he met. From the time he was very little, Dylan dreamed of becoming a veterinarian. He wanted to help animals feel better, just like the doctors help people. He filled his room with animal books, stuffed toys, and even a small play vet kit. Every day he practiced on his toys. One evening, as Dylan was lying in bed, his eyes heavy with sleep, he heard a faint tapping at his window. He rubbed his eyes and sat up, wondering what it could be. When he looked out, he was surprised to see a tiny owl. "Dylan," the owl whispered, "we need your help." Dylan's heart skipped a beat. "Who needs my help?" he asked softly, not wanting to wake his parents. "The animals," the owl replied. "There are many animals in trouble, and we believe you are the one who can save them. Will you go on secret missions to help them?" Dylan didn't hesitate. "Of course, I'll help," he whispered back. The owl nodded and flew off into the night, leaving behind a small, glowing charm in the shape of a paw print. "Wear this around your neck," the owl's voice echoed in Dylan's mind. "It will guide you on your missions." The very next night, the charm began to glow softly as Dylan was about to fall asleep. The light grew brighter, and suddenly, a soft voice whispered in his ear, "Dylan, it's time for your first mission." Without making a sound, Dylan slipped out of bed, put on his shoes, and tiptoed out of the house. The charm guided him to a quiet alley where he found a scared puppy, shivering in the cold. Dylan knelt down beside the puppy, gently wrapping it in his jacket. The puppy looked up at Dylan with big, grateful eyes. "You're safe now," Dylan whispered, stroking the puppy's head. He brought the puppy home, sneaking it into his room and making a cozy bed out of blankets. The next day, he found the puppy a loving home with a neighbor who had been looking for a new furry friend. From that night on, Dylan's secret missions became a regular part of his life. Every time the charm glowed, he knew an animal needed his help. And every time, Dylan would quietly slip out of the house. One night, the charm led him to a park where a little kitten was stuck high up in a tree, too scared to come down. Dylan carefully climbed up the tree, speaking softly to the kitten the whole time. When he reached the top, he cradled the kitten in his arms and safely brought it down. On another mission, Dylan found an injured squirrel with a hurt leg. He gently scooped it up, brought it home. He made a tiny splint for its leg using his play vet kit. He kept the squirrel in a small box lined with soft cloth until it was strong enough to return to the wild. As Dylan continued his secret missions, word began to spread. They all knew that if they were ever in trouble, Dylan would be there to help them. The birds sang his praises, the squirrels chattered about his kindness, and the dogs wagged their tails in gratitude.